So coming to Savarkar again, another thing about the Kaala Paani. So I mean, I have read that book, but about the book in which you mentioned. But how do you would like to explain the punishments being given to that Koluga Bell punishment and many people, committing suicide and people being hanged or they're being forced to stand with they were chained and forced to stand for like number of hours every day. So all those atrocities, if you'd like to give a brief overview of those.
Yeah, that's a gory thing to do on a Sunday morning, but they've endured that. We're just talking about these things. So I think the basic, human rights which people, are eligible to as, political prisoners, even that was denied to them.
Yes.
Like food or toilet facilities and so on. So there were fixed timings in the day when you could actually use the restrooms. And so the food that was served to them was mostly, it had pieces of reptiles and, lizards and this and that. And so people who would eat that would end up with diarrhea. And so for that, if you had to go to the toilet, you were not allowed to. And so most of them would defecate, urinate in their own, cells. And those cells were also tiny, tiny cells. If you actually go to the cellular jail, you will see that those are extremely small cells in which they were holed up, and in that to urinate, to defecate, and then to sit and sleep and eat amidst your own squalor. I think that was the kind of totally soul sapping experience for many of them. And in the heat of Port Blair, most of them had to do this Kolhuka Bell punishment that we spoke about, where that oil grinding machine, where instead of the bullock that is usually yoked to it, the freedom fighter was put there, and through the day they had to extract about 30 pounds of oil. And at the end of the day, if they have not brought that out, they would be whiplashed and not given food and so on. And also medical facilities, most of them would fall sick. The gunny sacks that they would wear, because of that, there would be skin rashes and so on, skin infection, leeches that were there that would, suck their blood. And so because of this, there were so many problems, but none of them were even taken to the, hospitals for this. Many of them went, they lost their mind, they became insane. There was an entire asylum that was started in Haddo Island in for this. Many people began to, commit suicide. You had Indu Bhushan Roy, you had Ulaskar Dutt who tried to do this. And so people like this who, they were electrocuted, all kinds of, today Britain talking about human rights and all of that. The Indian Bastille that this, cellular jail was, I think, we are well within our rights to demand a very strong apology from them for what they did, at the least.
Absolutely.
Kind of tortures. And this was done. There were almost hundreds of political prisoners, majority of whom came from Bengal, a few from Maharashtra, then Punjab after the Gadar movement, then of course Tamil Nadu and United Provinces and other states. So it was almost a pan-Indian conglomerate there, and only the revolutionary movement people were sent. None of the Congress workers were ever sent there. So the government was very clear who was their biggest threat, and so the most dangerous criminals, as they saw these people, they were all packed off there to break their soul, to break their spirit, and to ensure that they give up on their fight.
Of course, and though you rightly mentioned, not a great thing to discuss on a Sunday morning, but that was the reason I wanted, because all those who are attending this session should actually know and what sacrifices people made to make India free. We have to look beyond the charkha and all which got us independence.